Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Continental Club, where yet again I'm joined by the dream team of Patrick van Straten and Joseph van Kopper. We've still not built a set, still looks like we're shooting a hostage video. Bear with us, it's on its way. But for now, enjoy the ugly white wall. Anyway, first question is from Arpan Bhattacharjee. And he said, with our bold visionary, this is laced with sarcasm, lads. With our bold visionary Czech Fraudiola spending millions, will winning just the Premier League be considered a successful season for Manchester City this year? Now, I think perhaps a more well-rounded question will be, now he's assembled arguably the team he has wanted for the last 18 months. What should his aims be this season? Should it be the league? Should it be the Champions League? What can he do to justify that spending? Joseph, I'm coming to you first.
Well, I think he's definitely going to want a challenge for the Premier League title. I think it's an absolute must that he comes extremely close. I think Chelsea walked away with it by 10 points last season. Yeah. There's no way that that can happen again this year with Pep Guardiola in charge. I think he's still a couple of players off his ideal position. I think he definitely wants another central midfielder. I think Ilkay Gundogan's injury record, he's probably going to sell Fernando. Yaya Touré's getting no younger. Fernandinho's getting no younger. Maybe one more centre mid, but he has got one hell of a squad now with like Danilo coming in, Benjamin Mendy, what a signing that is, Kyle Walker as well. I think it's still short of winning a Champions League. I think the reason it's still short of winning Champions League is I'm not sure it's got enough experience in key positions. I know that the likes of Yaya Touré as a central midfielder can occasionally step up in big games, but I would argue he's not the best centre mid option they've got, and I don't know whether Vincent Kompany, you're going to get a full season out of him. So I think the rest of the team is still quite inexperienced. You look at up front the likes of Gabriel Jesus, you look at the likes of Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva they've just brought in, all quite inexperienced. So I think David Silva is key to the team. I think that they're still a little bit short of experience though, winning a Champions League. Going to challenge right deep for the Premier League.
That a lot of those young players have top experience already, and you're hoping people like Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané in particular, kick on Pato.
They haven't played that much Champions League football. Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling.
Leroy Sané's played a bit. I mean,
Raheem Sterling played with Liverpool, right?
Leroy Sané scored at the Bernabeu, like in his first season of the Champions League with Schalke. I mean, and other players have done it. If you're good enough, then you're old enough. It's the one where he cuts in and he just like bends it into the far side of the goal. I think it goes in off the post. But you look at Patrick Kluivert, you know, he started in a Champions League final when he was 18. You know, there are other players who've done it as well. So, for instance, Busquets, I think, was playing in that Barcelona team when he was 21. Like, if they are good enough, they are old enough. And we've seen that Mendy, who of course is very, very young, he went to a Champions League semi-final last year. In fact, Monaco are the counter-argument to what you're saying. They got so far. And I think they were just fearless. I don't think that experience is necessarily an issue, except when it comes to manager. And Pep is experienced. The issue is,
so you're saying you think they could get to a Champions League like latter stages this season?
They could definitely go. I think they should be aiming for a semi.
I think that's optimistic for that team.
Look though, you look around Europe, which squads are genuinely better than this Man City squad? I think there's Real Madrid and I think there's Bayern Munich, and that's probably it at this point.
I would argue because of the experience, Juventus as well.
Maybe, but look, I'd agree with you in the sense that like, I think the squad can challenge for basically everything, but I agree with you that they're unlikely to unless they beef up midfield. Midfield is a real issue. If everyone's fit for the whole season, they could win everything.
Even Juve are bringing their average age of the squad down. Right? There's a land grab for these top talents now in Europe because the big clubs are so clued on. They've signed Bernardeschi, you know, even yesterday getting rid of Lichtsteiner, Dani Alves, bringing in Bentancur from Boca Juniors. But Pep Guardiola, he's had an awful lot to do to overturn this squad, hasn't he? They had ageing fullbacks, the whole Joe Hart situation. He looks to have resolved the goalkeeping situation now with Ederson from Benfica, 35 million. I know he said that he might not necessarily be his number one straight away, but I feel like he's being diplomatic towards Claudio Bravo's very tenuous position at the club. And these young players, to me, Pato, suggest that he might be at Manchester City for a little bit longer than he was at Barcelona or at Bayern, which was 4 and 3 years respectively. This is a long-term project, isn't it? And to turn that squad over in 18 months, I know they've spent an awful lot of money, similar to Chelsea when Abramovich first took over. They needed to, didn't they? And now they can add to it, you know, 1 or 2 players every summer from here on in. Boys, give your minimum, before we sign this off, minimum expectations for Pep Guardiola next season.
5 points within a title or winning the title. I think he needs to be in there, and I think that they will get to He'll be happy with the quarter-final in the Champions League. I don't think they're good enough to go further.
It depends who they draw in the Champions League, but minimum, I agree with Joe, 5 points off the title and a quarter-final, but I think they should be aiming for a league win and a semi-final.
Yeah, I think spending 538 million, the hierarchy are well within their rights to expect at least a piece of silverware and to challenge to the very end. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, we're going to tackle Real Madrid's summer recruitment, because so far they've been very savvy, haven't they? Signing Ceballos, signing Theo Hernandez. They've let big stars go, like James Rodriguez to Bayern Munich. So, who do they need to sign to maintain this imperious form they've been demonstrating the last 2 years? Obviously, Mbappe has been linked with them incessantly. Pato, would you, if you were Zinedine Zidane, I mean, you've got a much better lid, spend between 120 and 180 million euros, which have both been quoted, wide berth, but would you spend that chunk of cash on Mbappe?
Yeah, I think I probably would.
Gone straight in, making it rain.
Real Madrid have sold really weirdly this summer. They haven't got as much money as they should have for Morata or for James Rodriguez, but they have got quite a lot of money for those guys, and that would take a lot of the sting out of 180 mil for Mbappe. The one issue with Mbappe is saying, what position do you want to play long term? And you'd have thought it's centre forward. So I would get Mbappe and I'd get a winger, I think, and I'd get rid of Benzema. Like, not because he's not great, I think he had a phenomenal season last year, but Ronaldo's going to play centre forward. Then when Ronaldo ages out, Mbappe's going to play centre forward. You've got Asensio in a wide position and Mbappe presumably on the left next season with Ronaldo through the middle. But in the long term, after that, it's hard to see who your next wingers are. You've got people like Lucas Vázquez, who I don't particularly rate.
Not at the level.
So I probably would get rid of Benzema because you've got your strikers set for the next few years. And yeah, I'd buy Mbappe because, you know what, as great as Gareth Bale is, as great as Karim Benzema is, they're not the box office that Mbappe is right now. And Real Madrid love a box office player. And he'd be there for maybe 10 years. So in the long run, he'd actually probably be better value than a lot of guys they've bought and only got 2 or 3 years service out of.
I think slightly different. I think slightly different to that.
Okay, I was going to throw this scenario.
No, he's gone straight in.
About the Bale.
Yeah.
To Manchester United link. But please go on.
Well, I think potentially I agree with you in terms of that's what they should do, but I don't think they will do that. I think that I actually think that Zidane and Perez really like Karim Benzema. And understandably, he is a great squad player. Doesn't kick up a fuss ever. He's interchangeable. He's got a great goal scoring record there. And as we know, Zidane has basically built a team around squad morale. And I think Karim Benzema is one of the central players to it.
He dovetailed really nicely with Ronaldo towards the tail end of last season, didn't he? In that 4-3-1-2 as well.
Yeah,
he's amazing, and he is selfless. He does sacrifice
himself. Exactly, sacrificed himself big time. And I think that Gareth Bale's injury record, I think he missed 29 games last season, effectively says to me that if Man United come with a big enough offer and they've got Mbappe through the door, Bale's a goner. I think that Gareth Bale, in his ideal world, would stay at Madrid. I think he's happy there, his family's settled there, he has no need to leave, he's on big bucks. But Man United, Ed Woodward is desperate for Gareth Bale. He's been trying ever since he first came through the door with David Moyes. Gareth Bale has been his #1 target. And I think that if he's there to be bought and they get Mbappe through the door, Ed Woodward will buy him. And we will pay massively over the odds for him. United will go out there, and if Real want 90 million, United will pay 90 million.
But if you paid 90 million for him, would that end your pursuit of Antoine Griezmann the season after?
I'm not too sure. I think Antoine Griezmann...
Who would you prefer?
It's a really difficult one. Do you know what? I think I would prefer Griezmann in the long term, but Bale is just one of those signings that I think people have actually forgotten how good Bale is. Just because of his injuries and because of the other star quality in that Madrid team. How amazing Gareth Bale is.
He had an incredible season.
And I just think that, imagine our counter-attack threat with Bale, Lukaku and Mkhitaryan. We are outrageous on the counter with that front three, but equally, do I think it'll happen? No. Do Real Madrid fans want it to happen? Probably. I saw a marker poll yesterday that said that 72% of fans wanted Bale sold if it meant Mbappe could be signed, which is a mad number.
Fans never.
So I don't think it will happen, but I would love it to happen. I don't give a about the money. Spend it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what about other potential targets then? In Dybala obviously signed a new contract. That looks to be off the cards. Eden Hazard has been perpetually linked with Real Madrid. Do you think that Mbappe just blows them out of the water? Just go after Mbappe for those big bucks, ignore slightly more realistic targets?
Yeah, I think Mbappe burn out the water. I think that Mbappe offers a better long-term option than a lot of these players as well. He's just a bit of a freak at the moment, Mbappe. I know that Dybala would be a fabulous signing, and obviously everyone's going to chase him, but I think he's more likely to go to Barcelona.
I mean, he also makes life easier in terms of squad building. Like, if you've got a guy who can cover the left wing role and the centre forward role, that helps you out. I mean, if I were Real Madrid, I'd probably want to use my Dembele a little bit more, but that's just like personal taste.
Yes.
Like, Mbappe is the only issue with Mbappe is almost nobody at his age has produced genuinely outstanding goal-scoring seasons. There've been a few who've done it, but if you look at, say, the Premier League, you know, when Arsenal were looking at signing him, there are very few players who've consistently bagged more than, say, 20 goals at his age.
Yeah.
And while we say he's a special talent, Real Madrid are going to expect huge production immediately. And so if I were them, maybe I'd think about Dybala or Dembele instead, but realistically, they're going to go for the guy who kids want on their shirt.
Gold dust, is that gold value right now as Mbappe?
Yeah. It's just star quality that he has, and everyone loves him. And when you see him play, you understand why, because he does things.
And he's so exciting to watch.
He does things that are genuinely like Brazilian Ronaldo. You know, watching him, you know, like you remember what it was like to see a player for the first time and think, Jesus Christ, this is the future of football.
Yeah. I personally think he should stay at Monaco for the year.
Yeah, for his development, I would 100% agree with you.
I think, Monaco will pay out their arse to keep him for the next year at least. But, guys, who should Real Madrid sign? Let us know in the polls just above. Ooh, options. Final question of the episode comes from Wayne, and he said, lads, what is the most valuable position in world football? Now, this is quite hard to determine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you selling to a direct rival? Are you dealing with a Premier League team with bags of cash? Are you dealing with an agent who takes 20% of the overall transfer fee, i.e. Mino Raiola?
Yeah.
Are you dealing with huge wages? Does that club know you need a certain player in a certain position? So, I think what we should boil this down to is, what transfer have you seen that has or has not happened so far this season that's made you just go, yeah?
So what you mean is, let's change this to a more interesting question.
I want a piece of that.
I agree with that.
Wayno, but that was quite vague.
There's only one answer, it's Neymar. Neymar is the most exciting move potentially I've ever seen. Honestly, 220 million euros. It's not even like, oh, we're blowing it out of the water by 20 million. We're blowing it out by 120 million euros. F you is what PSG is saying to the system. We're saying f you to FFP, f you UEFA, f you Barca. We're taking your best young talent and we're going to ruin him. Nah, he'll be class in Ligue 1, and I'm just excited to see what he can do, forging his own path. I really want to see what the guy is like as the standout star in a team. He's going to crush it in Ligue 1. I'd love it if he took him deep into the Champions League. And do you know what? Further down the line, could you imagine if Madrid bought him off PSG? The scenes! It'd be incredible.
That's because you're like the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn. I'd be quite upset if he left Barcelona. The holy trinity up front. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching the last 2 or 3 years. Breaking up that trident.
Nah, who cares?
And but they don't really have a functional midfield at the moment, and I don't really back Valverde to figure it out. Like, basically, I feel when you're watching Barcelona sometimes, you're watching Busquets, Iniesta and Messi fix a broken team on the fly, you know? Like, they're just like, it's like refueling a plane as it's crashing. Like, it's just annoying to me. But I don't know. I don't watch Liga, so I don't really give a shit. For shithousery, it would be great if he went.
Talking of that Barcelona midfield, I'm going to jump straight in there with Verratti to Barca for 100 million. Would they allow that to happen if Barca let PSG have Neymar? For me, he is tailor-made for that Barcelona team.
Yeah.
He's got incredible vision. His output is unreal.
Sexy
Tackles,
player.
take-ons, passes. The most time spent on the ball, it's always Verratti in that PSG side, isn't it? He's been a mainstay since he came age 19 from Pescara, I believe. I think he spent every year he's been in Liga in the team of the season since the age of 19.
No surprise.
To 24. He's incredible. I think he's a hybrid.
Oh, here we go.
Between Iniesta and Xavi.
That's amazing.
That's an outrageous statement.
It just makes me...
Jeepers creepers.
Wait, he doesn't sit as far back as Busquets, right? He's got that flexibility. This is the thing. He could plug a number of holes in that Barcelona midfield, and my God, is there a few holes.
Yeah, it would be a good move.
And he'd fucking boot Andre Gomez.
He's got a bit of dirt about him as well. He's got a bit of bite about him in the tackle. He likes a bit scrappy. You know?
Yeah, there are whole compilations online just of Verratti taking out Leo Messi.
Love it.
And it's absolutely quality. I mean, the thing is, I know I always talk about him, but Naby Keita, like, the thought of him going to Liverpool makes me feel sick.
Yeah,
vile. But weirdly, like, there was a rumour that Man City were going to come in for him, and I was like, You know what? It'd be really
yeah, it would be so nice.
It'd be really good.
It'd give you someone else to fantasise over when Yaya Toure moves on, right?
Look, mate, just
my
love for Yaya Toure is the pure love
he would
of
be
a man for somebody who sums up everything that's great about football. But I don't know, after that, like it gets a little bit difficult. I kind of think that something like, you know, Kovacic to Spurs, that'd be pretty tasty.
Or Arsenal.
Spurs would be good.
He could go to any Champions League level team and improve their midfield, except for the one team that he's at, which is Real Madrid.
That boy can shift the ball.
He's outrageously good. He can do absolutely everything in the midfield. But those are the kind of people you think are exciting. After that, you know, you hear about that Asensio move to Liverpool. If that had happened, it would have been awful for everyone who likes football and isn't a Liverpool fan. But it would have been f***ing sick.
If they got Keita and Asensio in the same window.
Never happening.
Dirty time.
Too much for a small club.
But after that dig, who would you sign, guys? What transfer rumour would you like to see materialise? Let us know in the comments below. So that was this week's Continental Club, guys. Thanks for sending in your questions, guys. What should they do next?
Yeah, we've got Stat Wars the Champions going on right now on Euro Football Daily. This is a tournament with some guests that you might know from YouTube and Twitter. Check it out. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, VFN just gone live over on Football Daily, so go and give that a comment and say that Continental Club sent you, and then you'll probably get a like, or maybe one of those little love hearts you can give now on YouTube.
Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe.